Hello, 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 and welcome. It is the Transform Your Relationship Show, and I'm Laura Rubinstein here with Dr. Rhoberta Shaler. Hi, Roberta.
Good morning, Laura.
And
S-
we are diving right into the holidays, and you're going to say
I was going to say, here we come with the greatest stress month of the year.
we certainly are, although um, we have some solutions, don't we?
Yes, we do. A major thing that is happening is that there are huge expectations. And the first thing that we have to do is manage our expectations.
Oh, wow, that's big because the holidays, everybody thinks you should be festive and be with family, enjoy yourself and get gifts, give gifts. There's a lot going on, and I think a lot of people look forward to it and a lot of people dread it. And it's always interesting to know that people dread it and what can they do about that? There's a lot of anxiety around.
Let's start with the expectation bit. First of all, get a nice cup of decaffeinated tea, sit down in a quiet place, and ask yourself, where did I get the expectations for the holiday? That it has to look a certain way, the food has to be a certain way, certain things have to be done, there are certain things that have to be bought. Where did I get all that?
Mm.
Like, do do I really want that, or was it given to me and I've just taken it on and I'm perpetuating it? Or do I love it? And when you love something, it's not the stress, right? If I'm doing it because I'm passionate about it, I can throw myself into it. That's great. But if it's a big add on and a big should and a must and a have to, that's when our body recognizes it as a stressor in the negative. I mean, there are two kinds of stress, eustress and distress. We don't usually understand that. We're just as much stressed when we're all excited about Christmas as we're distressed when we can't stand the idea of having to do Christmas. So the difference is the chemicals that it creates in the body. So we're fine with eustress. We can be excited. We can have some of that anticipation and all. But when it turns into distress, then we have to manage our expectations and see if they're really ours or if we're living up to the expectations of other people or Martha Stewart magazine for that matter.
I know. And also, then there's the kids. You got to make it right for the kids and for the family and the mother and the aunt and the sibling and the cousin but what about, oneself? And yes, you want it for them, but how do you reconcile what they want, what you want, and you want what they want, but you can't do it all. Like we can only do so much. And even if we have the desire, the passion to throw ourselves, we have other responsibilities we have to take care of as well. There's so much to consider. Um, and it really would be nice to not have to have stress and anxiety around it.
Yeah, well, a lot of the expectations came from 2 generations ago when there was a different cultural structure, when more mothers stayed home, more fathers went to work, mother could do all of this. And so somehow we're not bridging that generation gap very well for if we're dreading Christmas, because that means we have too many old expectations. So winnow them down, actually sit and have a conversation with yourself. Which ones do I prize and which ones do I dread? And if I dread them, why do I dread them? Can I turn them into something good or can I take them off the list?
And taking them off the list is often takes a little bit of courage.
For sure it does, because that aunt or cousin who is expecting you to do something needs to be told prior to the event that it's not going to happen. Always, I think it's something that people forget because they're so concerned about creating conflict. But you can be assertive, and my definition of assertive, and I've said this before on this show, is that we have the absolute right to say what we think, feel, need, and want as long as we do not say the word you. I'm feeling this. It has nothing to do with you. I'm feeling it. I'm thinking this. That's assertion. So I have decided that this year I'm not going to be making Christmas cake. That's assertive. It's not saying, I'm so sorry to disappoint you, and I know it's a tradition and yada, yada. It's just, I am very busy. I've looked at all the things that I enjoy about Christmas, and making Christmas cake is not one of them. So I'm not going to do that this year. So have the disappointment before the holiday season if there's going to be disappointment, and get clear and take that off your list.
That is huge. I want to highlight that because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm not going to do this or I'm going to do that," and things are going to be a certain way, and they know now how it's going to be, but they haven't said a word because they're avoiding the stress or the discomfort in sharing it. Whatever they're afraid of a reaction or afraid of disappointing another. And I want to invite people to do exactly what you say and get it done now. Get the communication done before. If there's something
Yeah.
you're not going to do, if there's something you are going to do, if you're going to let somebody down or you think you're going to let somebody down. And I love how you say that. Use the I word. I decided to, or I decided not to.
Yeah, manage your expectations and manage the expectations of others. When you do that proactively, you save a lot of what you're dreading. you know,
Amen.
there may be a little disappointment, there may be a how dare you or two, but then you just stick with it and you say, well, for my life this year, this is what I can accomplish, what I'm interested in doing, and this is the way it's going to be for me. And you have every right to do that. I think back to the last Christmas that my mother was alive, and we had excuse me, a huge tradition. And I'm an only child, but there was something about these decorations that was so, so, so important. They all had to go out. And I owned a big house and she had a small house, and she was coming to my house by ambulance. And I knew that even though I was going to probably be up for 36 or 48 hours, I knew this was her last Christmas. So I joyfully did the Martha Stewart thing. Every place was decorated. Everything was lovely. Everything that she'd ever wanted or expected about Christmas happened. But that was a one-time thing. I have never done it again because it's not my thing. And so it's important to know your reasons for doing something. I did it because I had all my mother's friends to dinner. She died 20 days later, but we did it. It was important to her and for me to show that I understood what was important to her and that we had the gathering of friends. But there was a very good reason why I did it, and therefore I could do it because I wanted to. But it is not my thing, and I don't enjoy it, and I don't do it. And so from then on, I simply said, I don't do this. If anybody wants it done, have at it. I'm not throwing this stuff away. I'm not doing it. And so there were some, right? But I didn't do it. The family took on what traditions they wanted to uphold in the decoration department. So it's important to know your reasons and to manage your expectations and the expectations of others. So let's figure it out now, right? Early in December, figure it out and then communicate it so that nobody is expecting you to arrive with the green bean casserole that you've always made if this year you're not planning on making a green bean casserole.
Yes. Or not showing up somewhere, or not staying as long as you want, or not bringing presents. And, if there's anything you're worried people are going to think about or lash out about or something about, I think it's better to get it done up front is the adage. Now, if we aren't so wise as to be able to predict everything and manage everything ahead of time, and we're still a little nervous. I love your idea of first taking a cup of tea and taking those moments to enjoy the moment. And then when the stress comes in, or the stress comes in because of the interactions and also the anticipation or expectation, like you said, right? So what advice do you have once we're in the holidays?
Well, first of all, self-care is a big deal. all year round, but particularly when you know there's stressors. So you need to have a break and make sure you plan for them. Put them in your calendar. You know, I'm going to have an hour lunch with a friend, not a have to, it's a want. And make sure that you turn as many have tos into wants that as you can. And then know that no is a full sentence. You know, sometimes you just have to say no. But if you get into a state of stress, a high level of stress, you're going to say or do something that's going to set somebody off. You're going to have interactions that you're going to not be happy about and may regret. So get yourself in the best place possible. And if that means arriving without the green bean casserole, then that's what happens, right? Take your best self when you go, not your stressed, dreading, anxious self.
I do want to mention one thing here about planning for the holidays and your business, because a lot of people are trying to race to the end of the year with, get a lot done, try to finish projects, deadlines, and it's not necessarily realistic, or it might be realistic. So if it's feeling too much stress, do yourself a favor, take the advice that we're given on the personal side and communicate on the business side too ahead of time. Really look and see what kind of holiday you want to have. If it's one you want to work through, great. If it's one you don't, then manage the expectations of your clients, your colleagues, anybody,
Yeah.
your joint venture partners, and let them know, hey, let's have a holiday season. Let's make a plan for the first of the year. Let's set some realistic deadlines and the outline of what has to happen. Do as much planning as you can to get it done as soon as you can after the new year or after the holiday or during the holiday so that you can have the time you want.
Mm-hmm.
Having your empowered holiday time also has to do with making sure your work is taken care of.
Yes, it's very important to know that you don't have any energy leaks, right? Those are the things that you look at and you go, I've still got that to do. And you do that over and over. And every time your body experiences that stress, that, I should have, I've forgotten, I've still got that to do. So watch for the energy leaks and take care of them. Usually if you close your office door for 4 hours, you can get a ton done. Don't answer the phone. Don't go to social media. Don't do anything. Put your list of priorities down, get them done. Now, I don't have family here, and all my friends went away for Thanksgiving. So on Thanksgiving, I worked, and there was no stores open. There was nothing to do. I just worked, and I got so much done, and I was thankful.
More than you know, right? Everybody knows. That's great. And it's a time also, if you take the time to have less on your plate, you can take the time to really close out the year properly. And I think maybe next session we'll talk about closure, for the year and
Mm-hmm.
starting fresh. How do we close the year really well? So think about planning for the year coming by making the end of the year not too harried for yourself. So start setting the tone for the new year right now.
Yeah, I just thought of something, Laura, in that regard, something really important. You're allowed to have fun.
Yay!
Sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to let go, right? And if the holiday season is a time when you could enjoy being with friends, but you're already sitting there thinking, I've got to get to that next party, or, I haven't done this or that. Plan for the time to allow yourself to be stress-free, that you are allowed to have fun. That I think that we don't do enough of that. Like, this is just straight out downtime. There's nothing else I'm supposed to be doing but having fun and be fully engaged. Think of the people with kids and they're out playing outside and whatever, but the the mind of the parent is all the things that should be happening inside. You miss the moment. You're not going to get those moments again. So be fully present and give yourself permission to have fun.
I wouldn't even say give yourself, make sure you have fun. It's like if life should be fun in general, and the holidays is a really good excuse to make sure you have that fun. So I think that's so huge. Why not let go a little bit and see if you can ride through the holidays with fun and into the new year? It doesn't have to be an either or. We can have both, and we can have great holidays, have fun, and have a life that works with fun. A
Hmm.
life, a career, a if you have a business, great. So, man, I'm very excited about this. And I think it all starts with something you said. We didn't harp on it a lot today, but we do say it a lot, is self-care. Putting yourself at the top of your to-do list, like Oprah says. And what would that look like to do that? And, does that mean taking an extra 5 minutes for you to sit and have that cup of tea, that decaffeinated, herbal, soothing tea, or take time to just nurture yourself in some way, even if it's go sit out in the sun for 5 minutes and get your vitamin D, you know?
Yeah, 15 minutes without your glasses on. That's how you get vitamin D.
Okay, great. Why not
But
the glasses? What's up with the glasses?
you need to let the sun get to your pineal glands.
Mm,
So you need to not have that happening, nothing
okay.
interfering. And there's a couple of other things to think about too. Um, and that's your heart and your gut. Those are really good monitors and measurements of where something is for you. When somebody says to you, would you like to come to this? Don't think. Check with your heart and your gut. What just happened? Is it a leaning in? I'd like to go. Oh, that sounds great. Or is your gut going, oh, no, right? Know how to check in and listen to your body. In the new year, I want to talk about a really serious subject, Laura, and that subject is trauma. And that's something, of course, that I do a lot of work with. People have experienced trauma, but it really means getting in touch with your heart and your gut. And so when you are even practicing getting in touch with that, you can do it around the holidays. Like, what feeling did it bring up immediately? Not, don't go into your head like, can I fit it in? Should I fit it in? What do I say? Will they be hurt? Listen to your body, right? Your body will not fail you to tell you what's really going on. Then you need the communication skills to say it in a way that is, as we say so often, both kind and honest at the same time.
Hmm. And so, if anybody has any questions about managing stress or preventing stress from the holidays or thriving through it, we're here. You're welcome to comment. I'm monitoring the comments here, so we'd love your interaction. And if you like something we say, or you're going to do something, go ahead and let us know with a like or a heart, whatever you need, because we're nearing the end of our time. But go ahead.
I just want to say something about gifts. Where did this nightmare come from? Right?
Yeah.
Like where did it come from? A gift by nature is something that you choose to give. That's the whole idea. It is not a have to, it's not a should, it's not reciprocal, it is not, well, your gift seemed to be $20, so mine should be 22. It is none of that. And if that doesn't happen spontaneously and it becomes a should, when you're sitting down with that nice cup of something that's going to nurture you, think about that. Where would I like to give? To whom would I like to give? What would I like to give? Not a have to or a must or a should. And back to the kids thing, manage their expectations too. You're preparing your children for life. That doesn't mean you give them everything that you ever wanted. Why not teach them everything you wish they'd know?
Yeah, and I think that gifts, it becomes tricky because it's like, what do I want to give? I'm like, what should I, what would this person really appreciate? There's a lot to it. So a strategy I use is I kind of let go a little bit and let the gift come to me. I set the intention that I really want to get a gift that's meaningful and that I feel good about giving. And if I can't think of something, I always have a fallback idea, so that it takes the stress off for something perfect to come in. And a fallback idea could be a lovely gift certificate or an offer to take them to dinner or something that's not stuff, because people have a lot of stuff, especially for the people, like, what do you get the person who has everything or has no needs or really, whatever. Sometimes a personal effort, like I've been doing photo calendars for family, and I was like, oh, maybe I should do a photo calendar for a friend or something like that, or photo book. And that just came to me because I let it go. And this
Yeah.
creative idea came to me, and it doesn't have to be this expectation, like I have to get the most prettiest tchotchke out there, for this person that I know they're gonna fall in love with. That's a lot of pressure to do, right?
Exactly, exactly. Like, what if you wrote them a
Mm,
letter of appreciation? What if you gave them something that you know that they might grow into, something that they would value, that you can give them and say, this had real impact on me, and
mm,
you may not be ready for it, but put it on your shelf, maybe a book, something that leads someone in a new direction. It's
mm.
not always where they are right now, but can be an invitation. I remember a gift that I got about 35 years ago. And I didn't know that this man knew me so well, but no one had ever done it. He gave me a book of quotations. I was stunned because I didn't know that he knew that I would value that so deeply,
Mm.
but he did, right? So he just kind of thought about where my head and heart were at, and he showed up with the perfect gift.
That's great. And we have a question here. So you got the perfect gift, but how do you handle when the receiver says back they feel guilty about not getting you anything?
You say, this is my gift to you. It comes from my heart, not from expectation. I'm just so grateful for our friendship or our connection. Learn how to just put somebody at ease with the fact that you gave a gift and that you wanted to, and it wasn't given in the spirit of reciprocation.
Yeah, and that's really, really, really challenging in this environment, in this culture, I should say. We have that built in as a cultural norm. So
That's
to
right.
start, we are recommending going against that cultural norm and doing it with grace and clear communication and letting people know. And then the opposite is could be true. Like if you don't feel the need to get a gift for somebody or you don't want to get a gift for somebody, that's a little tricky because we have this culture of reciprocation. So that's where I like what we started talking about is go outside the box, write a letter. It doesn't have to be a tchotchke or a sweater or a scarf or something they're not going to necessarily value as much as you really value them. You
Right.
know?
And I love your idea. Give them a coupon. I'm going to take you to dinner at this restaurant sometime in the month of March, or something to look forward to, or I'm going to buy us tickets to this event. Which day would you like to go? And so you're saying, I want to spend time with you. And that's a real gift. I mean, that's the most finite resource we have, except beats of our heart. So, and that's related to time. So when we say, I want to spend time with you, when you and I put something on the calendar and say we're going to spend 3 or 4 hours together on a Saturday afternoon, that's a gift to each other
It is.
because we're busy and we have all kinds of things going on, but we want to and we do it and we value that. That's something that we just have to get more in touch with, is that when we give someone the gift of our time and attention, like to be fully present and gift, right? Be fully present when you give them the gift of your time. That's invaluable because they can never get it again.
Mm, it's precious. Come wrapped in a bow.
Right. So when we have our Saturday outing, we'll wear bows, right?
There you go. It's perfect, perfect. So it's great. So we've covered a lot from managing expectations of what you're going to do and not going to do to gift giving and receiving. And we recognize that it's challenging and we would like to be a resource to you, whether it's and ending the year powerfully in your work and taking the stress off. And we do that not just here on the live stream, but you can reach us at transformtoday.com is my site, and For Relationship Help is Dr. Roberta's site, and we've got all kinds of goodies there for you. Free consults and gifts, and it's the season of giving, so take advantage of it.
Yeah, and stay away from shoulds, musts, and have tos.
Oh, yes.
Just keep that in mind. If it's a should, must, or a have to, consider, is it a want to?
Or how can it be a want to? And if it's not a want to, it's not. It's just not.
That's right. It's just
not a want to, it's not happening. And it's okay to say, I don't want to. It's really okay.
It really is.
What a shocker. Oh my gosh. Can you believe it? We're all adults here. And when an adult says, I don't want to, and it's a responsible adult, usually that's good enough. I mean, like, you don't even.
It should be good enough.
Yes.
Not why don't you want to, right?
I don't want to. And, somebody might ask, help me understand why you don't want to. And you can choose to respond or not, right?
Mm-hmm. And, another way of saying it that gets fewer backs up is to say, I'm not choosing to do that today. Right. So I've got this is what I'm going to be doing, and I'm not choosing that. I'm choosing something else. And there's nothing people can argue. You will learn a lot about another person if they want to argue with a perfectly functioning adult about their choices. That means that we've become a little too invasive. And so learn to be respectful of your own needs and wants so that you can be respectful when someone else says that. You may be curious, as Laura said, well, oh, that's an interesting choice. Tell me how you made that. And they may or may not respond, but it's respectful. And this is another way we manage expectations. I don't expect you to tell me why you can't do something that I want you to do, nor should I have that prying nature. When a person that I love and respect says, I can't do that, you just accept it.
Even if it's hard to hear. I mean, but you accept it because it's respectful, and you'd want somebody to respect your choices.
Yeah, and it's built on trust. Like, you trust that the other person has a logical reason, and you go on from there. But we get into these dependent and codependent situations of, I need to know why you don't want to do something with me, because I need to know it's not about me. Well, do your own work there, folks. That's on you. That's not on the other person. So there's a lot of growth in learning how to accept when somebody just declares what they're up to, and you let it be.
Let it be, and focus on yourself and your own needs and what you need and what you can control. And we have lots of episodes that talk about this. Please watch them here at Transform Your Relationships Live. We are here every other week. We'll be back with you right before the holidays, supporting you on how to close out the year and feel really good about it, ending, completing, and starting fresh and new. And of course, you can contact us again at our websites at transformtoday.com and forrelationshiphelp.com. I do have them here. They're also in the show, the description of today's show. So we're not going to abandon you. We're here for you. We respect you. And we want you to respect yourselves too. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Gail. Shout out to you, and for the great question. We will be back another time. Anything you want to close out with today, Rhoberta?
No, just know that you're in charge of your stress. It's not about other people.
Or you're in charge of your fun.
Exactly. So those are the flip sides of the coin. Make sure you decide which side is up.
Have a great couple of weeks before the holidays. We'll see you then next time.
Bye-bye.